right, third time recording this. Let's hope this works. So, hi, my name is Fluffy Ruffs. I wanted to make this video really to share it to as many people as possible, but I'm a nobody channel, so I'm making this video in hopes I can share it to other bigger content creators, especially ones that may have connections to devs. And I don't care if they take these ideas and make it their own. I just personally care for the fun of the characters that I play and stuff and would like to play and make the game more enjoyable over time. Um, this is just going to mainly go over some DPS, not all of them. And I will also say the bolded sentences with the underline are going to basically be, in short, the changes that I think would be okay to do. And also keep in mind, as in that note there, not every suggestion needs to be added together. Each idea is of its own. Okay. So that means when I say suggest one change for a character, that doesn't mean every other change under that one means they all need to be added to that character. I think that these should all be of its own, but maybe the devs may think, or even other people may think, that they should be combined together just to make the character good enough or whatever. But I'm personally making these as separate for the most part. So yeah, starting with Squirrel Girl. So Squirrel Girl improved the AI of the alt to know where all the enemies are on the map, and to be able to bounce from a wall to get to them, no matter how far away they are. Note, there has been some issues, maybe bugs, where the alt would hit someone, and because the next nearest enemy is like on the high ground or not in LOS, I guess, of the ultimate would then literally go across the map and off the cliff. This just makes the alt kind of useless and lose its value, and it's overall just doesn't make Squirrel Girl feel that great because her ultimate just is not that good, in my opinion, because of issues like this. So I do think an overall AI improvement on her ultimate could be very helpful. Allow her ultimate to move faster, as it's 300 HP, and making it faster helps it to be more reliable in higher rank lobbies, to get quicker value hitting the enemy before quickly going down. So the obvious issue to this ultimate as well is that at 300 HP, it goes down really quickly. But I think in exchange for going down really quickly, if people actually pay attention to it and shoot it, it should also get to its targets pretty quickly as well, because they're squirrels, right? Um, which also makes sense for the next change that I think could also be pretty useful. I do think that it should also stay at 300 HP if they do make it faster, because in lower ranks, it it's should be fine to stay at 300 HP. Won't be too much of an issue if people actually look at it in low ranks, because it's not too much HP to try to burn through. And if it was more HP, people would start calling it problematic because not many people want to shoot at it. Not only because it's just like another player, I guess you can think of it, but people just generally just don't want to be bothered by it, and they just don't want to have to shoot it, basically. Um, but if you make it more of a threat, they would be more inclined to have to shoot it, and it should be considered a threat as it is an ultimate ability. So yeah, I think that it's fine at 300 HP, not having more than that, not having less, and making it a bit faster so it can quickly hit the enemy, and getting some value there. Because you also got to keep in mind how much sustain is in the game and how easy it is for supports to just, use an alt and basically be immortal. And then Squirrel Girl Ultimate is just not only gonna pretty much do nothing through all that sustain, but is also gonna quickly get shot down probably before he even reaches them. So yeah. And then allow the ultimate to climb walls so she feels like she has another reliable tool to hit flyers. Flyers are slowly becoming better again, as you can probably see in pro play. Like Ultron is actually a lot better now. Um, but anyway, so that again, as she wouldn't feel not too bad in meta where flyers are good again, she would have another reliable tool for hitting them. So I think squirrels being able to climb walls, which not only makes sense, also would be pretty useful of a tool to hit flyers. Although I don't know if this would be that reliable because, like, for the most part, it's just going to hit mainly people on the floor. So it depends on where you're positioned, I guess, because it's supposed to be the nearest target. So if the flyer is the nearest target, hopefully it would fly up a wall, or not fly up a wall, climb up a wall, and then jump off the wall to try and hit the flyer. And then, yeah. Okay. And then another change is allow it to bounce from one enemy to another instead of just bouncing off of walls. I don't know if this would be too much, but instead of just relying on hitting walls to then find its way to an enemy, it could bounce from hitting one enemy to another enemy, which could also make it more consistent towards, like, if it hits a Luna, it could probably then hit the nearest other support like a Invis, or hit the enemy Phoenix, or whoever, right? I don't know if that'd be too much, but that's another idea to make the ultimate better. Blade. Blade, this change is going to be similar to another certain character you guys will obviously know when keep reading. Make it so that when Blade is in his enhanced/awakening form, which is called Bloodline Awakening, his blade bleeds his targets, and the bleeds also give him life steal. How much? I don't know. Devs can decide, but maybe keep it a bit low at first and balance it after some feedback. Iron Man. Okay, maybe not too low, by the way, on the lifesteal. Anyway, Iron Man. Honestly, just lower the cooldown of his overdrive for like 14 to 15 seconds. Keep in mind, characters like Torch and Iron Man have cooldowns, which I'm pretty sure have been the way that they've been as long as they have been since around their release. So like season 0, and I think Torch was out when season 1 or season 2. I think it was season 1. um, and they have cooldowns that are around 20 seconds. 20 seconds is way too much, especially for characters like them in how the state of the game is today. 20 seconds IMO is unreasonable at this state of the game, especially with how the devs basically have said and have been doing. They want to keep hit scans strong, and hit scans are still really strong. With how strong hit scans are, it's not a bad idea to also increase the flight speed so he can attempt to make a getaway. Keeping in mind that annoying end lag animation he does when he tries to stop using um, hyper velocity. Okay, Iron Fist. So I did hear some balance changes that some people wanted. Like they wanted the devs to revert the change to Iron Fist to where he's not doing percentage based damage, but doing meaningful damage against squishies, but keeping his lower cooldowns. I am making this suggestion in the case that they want to stay on the percentage base part for Iron Fist, but this change would also keep the people who want to do consistent good damage against squishies in the backline happy as well. So if the devs are going to keep Iron Fist as another percentage based option for being a threat to tanks to help keep them in line, then at least make it so that the rapid fire punches he does after using Dragon Defense has anti heal on it, so that the squishies he fights don't think they are fighting against the Pillow Man. Also, could give him 2 kicks. I don't know if this would be too much though. Like, a lot of people have been saying Iron Fist should have 2 kicks, one to help him get in or commit to a kill, or have that other kick to help him get out. Right. A lot of the time, they can only really use that kick to get out, and not really consistent time, not really consistent engages where he can commit to a kick and get out alive. I'm kind of mixed on it because I feel like this is a character that has pretty good sustain at staying alive. Um, Giving him 2 kicks might make a lot of people upset because of how he may be able to confirm kills better while also being very sustaining. So I really don't know on the two kicks thing, but I think a lot of people do think that that is a very good and needed buff for Iron Fist. So I don't know, but I at least think that the eye anti heal on the fist part on the rapid fire punches would be very useful to be good damage against squishies, in my opinion. This would allow the devs to be happy with the design of making him good against tanks while also keeping our other Iron Fist players happy that he can do meaningful damage to the backline to the squishies. All right. Human Torch. With the removal of his team up with Invisible Woman, remember the times that Human Torch was very good in the meta because of the team up that he had with Invisible Woman, the shielding he got from using Flaming Meteor, as well as getting pocketing from characters like Ultron. Like he was really good. He put up consistent damage and he had that burst from Flaming Meteor. But now with the nerfs to those things over time and the removal of the team up with Invisible Woman, honestly, one of his main abilities to help him get away from danger, which it was his Flaming Meteor move, this has no business being still staying as a 20-second cooldown. It is way too long. It's too much for this state of the game. The ability of this cooldown should go down from 20 seconds to 19 to not 19 to 12 to 14 seconds at least. This would allow him to, I mean, if the devs feel like it's still like a lot because it has knockback, pretty good damage and shielding, you can maybe, I don't know if people would agree with this, but I think you can take a tiny bit of damage or knockback away from Flaming Meteor just to justify lowering its cooldown. But in my opinion, even as it is right now, that ability has no business being 20 seconds long. That is way too much. When you compare like other abilities that there are for other characters in the game right now that are pretty strong, they're like nowhere near as long as 20 seconds. It is very questionable and, in my opinion, unfun to play characters where parts of their kit just takes way too long to come off of cooldown to use it, to use them. All right, now Scarlet Witch. Scarlet could use a fifth dagger. In my opinion, I see her as having a pretty good role of being an assassin type character because she has two fades and a good stun, and she does pretty good damage with her daggers. Um, but if you want her to be better to try and confirm kills a bit better, I think giving her a fifth dagger is really good, as well as if you want her to get value for her team so people don't feel frustrated playing with the Scarlet Witch, you can make her more useful by allowing her M1 to drain shields faster, making her more reliable against shield tanks, and gives her team more value as she could basically be another shield breaker. Storm, in my opinion, I think should be a bit faster with their cooldowns a little bit, like with Bolt Rush. Um, 6 to 7 seconds. I'm not joking when I say that. I think hitting a Bolt Rush feels really good because it gives shields now. But I do think to make her feel better when it comes to doing damage, I think Bolt Rush should be 6 to 7 seconds. I think that'd be fine. It would feel better to play her that way when her Bolt Rush is up a little bit sooner. Also make her move around a bit faster. Herself only, because her buffs to her allies are already good enough. She needs buffs for herself now. Okay? At least make her much faster when she uses Goddess Boost ability. To make her feel a bit more consistent, in my opinion, Goddess Boost should be lowered to 12 11 to 12 seconds. Keeping in mind, again, similar to Iron Man with Overdrive, when she uses this ability, it does not go on cooldown until the ability is over, right? So when she finishes using Goddess Boost, it doesn't start that 15-second cooldown until it's over. So which is unlike Cloak and Dagger, where Dagger uses her heal bubble, and that already goes off of cooldown. And by the time the effect of that bubble is gone off the field, she has it back by like 4 to 5 seconds, right? So I think, in my opinion, Goddess Boost should be lowered to 11 to 12 seconds. It should not be as long as 15, in my opinion. I have no idea how many times I've said that word, but anyway. And then, yeah, what I said before is pretty much said here, which is like, IMO, this is fair because Goddess Boost doesn't start lowering the cooldown during its use like some other abilities of other heroes, for example, Cloak and Dagger, using Dagger Storm. Yeah. So, also, I think this is a pretty interesting change that they could do is make it so Goddess Boost affects her ultimate, keeping in mind when it only is affected by one of the boosts she does, right? So if she's in speed form, this would make her ultimate go faster. If she's in damage form, she doesn't get the speed boost form value, but she gets the damage value from Goddess Boost in the ultimate, making the ultimate stronger. I think this is a pretty good idea because her ultimate, in my opinion, was only really strong aside from maybe the team up with Torch, which you're not really playing her with anyway, for the most part. Her ultimate was usually really strong with Jeff, but with the removal of that team up, I think Goddess Boost affecting her ultimate, in my opinion, is a really good change. Because even after the ultimate finishes, Goddess Boost is going to be over by that time. So she's not going to be able to further continue speed boosting into the enemy team for a snowball or boosting away to get away from the enemy team. Nor will she have the damage because, like, of course, she's just not going to have the Goddess Boost after the ultimate is over, right? She would have to think about, do I want to save Goddess Boost till after my ultimate ends, or do I want to combine it with my ultimate? I think this makes her gameplay loop a little bit more interesting, and the combo potential with her abilities working in sync together a lot more fun to play, and just overall makes her a stronger character. Hawkeye, I'm honestly not sure, but you could maybe add a lot more ammo to the explosive arrow. Maybe the same buff the main arrow gets with its ultimate, the explosion arrow would get it too. You could do something with it to make it not have to perma rely on to make Hawkeye not have to perma rely on his main arrows. The only thing that explosion arrows ever really used for is breaking the map, but surely we want to like use it for more than just breaking the map, right? So that's something to think about, but please be careful on how you change and buff it. We don't want it to be broken, please. Anyway, Black Widow. Honestly, just buff her melee form, but replace the stun with something else like a nade that does knock up that may allow her to continue her combos. I don't think a knockup nade would be a bad replacement for the stun, because number one, a lot of people, even especially divers, would complain on how crazy it is that Black Widow in close range can just combo to death them because of that kick stun, and she doesn't even have to properly land the kick. Remember, very early in the seasons of Marvel Rivals, how we all complained about how Spider-Man's uppercut would just like have a truck size hitbox. It's pretty much the same thing to this day with her kick, and leading to a stun that is pretty much you can't get away from, and she can combo you to death with that kick. I think it's better if that was replaced with a nade that does knock up, and they buffed her melee form a bit more, so her melee form would be more interesting in the gameplay loop, um while also making it so that characters who get hit by the nade, though they are knocked up, maybe they can have the speed to try and get out, or they have a dash that helps them to get out, right? But they're not guaranteed to just like die to a combo from a Black Widow, um compared to now, right? So I think replacing it with like a knock-up nade and buffing her melee form would make Black Widow have a more interesting gameplay loop. and not super toxic to fight against, in my opinion, and might make her a lot better to play. But those are just my personal opinions. I think I may have missed some things, but I hope that this could be like a conversation starter in making characters a lot more fun to play and stuff. Um, Maybe I'll have some ideas for tanks and supports, but this is it for now. Thanks for watching and have a good day. See ya.